That was a tragic quote, and it has caused people to absolutely hate me. Doing a Kickstarter, doing early access, watching people play Godus for almost a year now has been a truly fascinating thing. And, you know, I felt kind of reborn as a designer. You know, when you're creating something, then quite often as a designer, you're the only person that's got the end state in your brain. Now, very often, and the insane way that I work, and I wish I didn't work like this, the game kind of discovers itself. You know, you're really surprised, and you know, with almost every game I've done, I could tell you the moments where this moment happened. With Godus, 6 weeks ago, for some reason, I woke up and I thought, we've got to have a starry in the game. There's this race of people that's in the iOS version called a starry, and then these funny things. That didn't come to me till 6 weeks ago. Now, I wish back in my Kickstarter time, I had said, one of the biggest things in the game is the story, but, you know, my poor, tired old brain didn't think like that.
The reaction online to the final version has been mixed, I think we could say. I went and looked at your Kickstarter comments section, and some people are saying that this is not what I paid for, and I'm disappointed, and the game promised something else. Were you surprised by the reaction?
Well, this is what I kind of mean. I mean, I think you know, the community forums are like this living thing. And sometimes they are just exuberantly excited about everything that happens. And that can be absolutely awful. And sometimes they're incredibly negative about all sorts of things. Now, we always said in our Kickstarter campaign, we were making a mobile version. We were super clear about making a mobile version. And I just think that the community has unfortunately twisted itself into two obsessions. Firstly, the fact that we are doing a free-to-play game. They think that that is in some way a betrayal, that we have betrayed them. The simple fact is that if you want to do a game on mobile, it's like doing a video on YouTube. People will not pay for games on mobile. They're not used to paying for games on mobile, especially the audience that we want to find is that, you know, why would they pay for a game? There is paid games there. There are some games like, you know, Monument Valley, for example, which have been successful, but they've had like 1 million downloads, 1.5 million downloads. Godus achieved that in a few days because it was free. And this industry and designers in this industry have to own free-to-play, they have to love free-to-play, and they have to define free-to-play. They also got upset about the wait timers. And what me as a designer was trying to do, especially on the PC version, on wait timers, was trying to get you, the player, to focus on more than one thing. And why I did wait timers, why they have always been in the PC version. And really what I'm trying to do as a designer is I'm trying to persuade you to think like this. I've set that off, I'll leave that going, I'll go and focus on something else. And this is an idea that I first, you know, experienced in a game called Civilization. I don't know if you've ever played Civilization. In Civilization, in one city you'll set off some building, it'll take 40 turns. In another city, you'll be defending some battle. And I thought that was a brilliant thing to do, and I wanted to kind of pull that across to Godus.
And how do the wait timers differ from the ones in the Dungeon Keeper reboot on iOS that you were quite vocal in your distasteful?
Well, yeah.
I think you said, I just want to make a dungeon, I don't want to schedule my alarm clock for 6 days to come back for the block to be chipped. Could someone say the same about making a house in Godus?
The problem with Dungeon Keeper wasn't the 6 days. The problem was that the first block that I tapped on in Dungeon Keeper said 2 days. And it was just a really unfortunate mistake that they made, was exposing me to wait timers which were multiple hours long in the first thing that I did was terrible, because I wasn't used to that length of time. And when I gave that quote, I'd only played the game. It was because it was like a phone call from, I think it was Eurogamer or the BBC, and they phoned me up, and I actually said to them at the time, well, let me download it, and I downloaded it and tapped on a block, and it said 2 days, and so I gave that line. It wasn't a mistake for them to use free to play. It was a mistake to introduce the consumer to those in elongated wait times. Now, if you notice about the wait times in Godus, there are no wait times that are multiple, certainly not multiple hours, until much, 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 much later in the game. And I'm all for, waiting for an entire day for something, if there are lots and lots of things for you, other things for you to do. That seems fine to me. That was a tragic quote, and it is caused people to absolutely hate me. And it could, that one quote, which was done, which took me 10 seconds to say, could mean that I have to retreat from any press. I have to live and die on what comes out in the press, and I have to accept that. But when people are saying vehement things, which includes death threats and includes kind of things like, I'm going to come around there with a shotgun and blow your head off because I've done a free to play game, it kind of reminds me of when I was at school. People used to beat me up just because I was a bit of a dreamer. Just because something's hard to do doesn't mean you shouldn't do it that way. And, this has been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, because a lot of people have judged the entirety of my career and its work and the whole future of something like Godus based upon a game which was released because we said in our Kickstarter campaign, this is what we would do, released early, when we said publicly it's 25% of the entire experience, and everyone then said, this is a load of shit, all you do is flatten the land, all I do is tap, I've got RSI, but I take all that criticism, I take the criticism now, which has lasted for over a year, for the sake of making a great game. I take it every single time. I take the bullying every single time, because I believe in what we're doing. And, I completely believe there is a brilliant game there in Godus, a brilliant game that is going to bring people together. I believe that, and I'll take that criticism, and I'll take that community, because sometimes for every 10 haters of that, there's someone who comes up with an idea, or someone that inspires our team.